Lesson 4. Building and leading effective and productive teams. The team concept, teamwork, team building, the team. Over the past few decades, these terms have become common buzzwords to describe an environmental shift in business and industry. While many leaders have enjoyed success in implementing a smooth functioning team environment, others have found it difficult to move beyond theory to the practical application of the team concept. What marks the difference between those teams that are successful and those that are not? Even company leadership, managers, and employees whose attitudes are favorable for the success of a team environment are sometimes at a loss to pinpoint the specific behaviors that support effective teamwork. In general, we do know that successful leaders, whether in sports or in business and industry, define the vision and mission of the team and its members, and they excel at setting goals and implementing a plan of action to achieve those goals. All members have the responsibility to motivate themselves, and they share the responsibility of creating a climate conducive for motivating their other team members. What makes up a successful team? What exactly is meant by the word team? A team can be defined as a small group of skilled people who work together toward a common goal or purpose. The most effective teams are those that consist of no more than 20 people. If a team grows larger than that, it becomes increasingly difficult to get everyone in agreement to work toward a common purpose and goal. A team also is composed of skilled people. If you think of a sports team, the most obvious example of teamwork, the coach strives to place the most skilled players in the appropriate positions. A person whose skills are insufficient for that position is either moved to a more suitable position or is removed from the team altogether. An effective team also works together. Interdependence among individuals is a key characteristic of successful teams. If a group of people don't need to work closely together and they don't depend on one another to complete a task or reach a goal, then there really isn't a need to form a team. A team's success is largely determined by the team members' ability to work interdependently. A key hallmark of a high-performance team is that all the members work toward a common goal or purpose. While the characteristics and requirements for successful teamwork are most obvious when it comes to athletic teams, they hold true in any team-building effort. Use the following steps to build a successful team. 1. Define the team. Identify the members of your team. Determine the role each team member will play in the success of the entire organization. 2. Define specific team goals and an action plan. State the primary purpose of the team. Identify goals the team is to accomplish today, this week, this month, this year, this decade. 3. Identify specific behaviors that support team goals and a team environment. Specific actions and behaviors mark the most successful teams. Among these behavioral characteristics found in team members are a positive attitude, commitment, persistence, and discipline. Team members who demonstrate these qualities are generally considered successful team members. Not only are they considered successful themselves, but their winning attitudes and actions have a positive, constructive effect on the other team members. 4. Outline how you and others will be held accountable. Recognizing team members for their specific contributions to team success through positive feedback encourages continued high-level achievement. Use positive feedback to praise team members for specific tasks completed exceptionally well, for pursuing innovative ideas, and for expending extra effort. Give verbal or written feedback one-on-one to the individual, or, if appropriate, give public praise to individuals or the team for meeting goals. In contrast, consider the consequences to team members who fail to uphold certain responsibilities or attitudes. Address unmet expectations before they drive a wedge into working relationships and negatively affect the team. Some personnel issues by nature should be handled under the organization's policies. But be careful not to ignore the impact that unfulfilled responsibilities have on your team's morale. You and your team members already possess some valuable skills for success. How much your team achieves is limited only by your desire to grow and your willingness to make changes and adjustments in your work behavior. The biggest room in any organization is the room for improvement. Psychologists tell us that few people ever use more than 15 to 25% of their potential. As each individual in an organization or on a team increases his or her potential skills and abilities, everyone wins. Team building. Recruiting winners. Building a successful business is all about building successful people. You could have the greatest product ever invented. You could have the most efficient systems and processes. And you could have the most catchy and effective advertising. But if you don't have good people, you still won't succeed. So, how do you build a winning team? The first step is to attract talented individuals to your team. There are 3 principles to keep in mind when recruiting individuals to build a successful team. Follow these principles and you will become a master team builder. 1. People are looking for something to believe in. This has been true for the entire history of mankind. No one simply wants a job for 8 hours a day. People want to be involved in something that has meaning, something that has value, something that makes a difference. As a leader, be alert to this need that is present in everyone. 2. People are looking for someone to believe in. People in most jobs do not believe in their boss or manager. They see them as a means to a paycheck. You can be the person that they believe in and trust when you demonstrate interest in their personal and professional growth. You can only do this by being a role model. You must talk the talk and walk the walk. You must be a true leader. 3. People are looking for someone to believe in them. Business is believing in people. You do this by showing people how to believe in themselves. Tell your team members that they have what it takes to be successful in your company. Show them how you will support and train them. Get to know them. Know their family. Know their interests. Know their goals. These 3 principles apply to everyone. Use them to recruit team members who will help you reach your business goals. The single activity common to all successful leaders is that they constantly recruit winners. You will add more value to your business by recruiting a talented team member than almost anything else you can do. Ultimately, your own success will depend, to a large degree, on your ability to attract winners. Keys to effective teams. On a trip to a specific destination, a driver can look for certain landmarks to be sure of taking the correct road. A team also has landmarks to evaluate whether or not it is on the path to excellence. Several components determine the success of a winning team. These elements include decision-making, creative problem-solving, collaboration, and facilitative leadership. Decision-making. 1. Standards for making decisions. Decisions are always made with reference to certain standards or values. The organizational counterpart to a leader's strong self-image is a well-defined organizational plan of action that serves as a blueprint for decisions. Organizational goals are practical, working expressions of overall purpose and, as such, reflect the values and ethical standards of the organization. Identification of priorities among the various organizational goals provides an index to their relative importance to the organization. When a significant decision must be made, the final choice among several solutions might hinge on a single urgent need that would be overlooked in the absence of clearly defined goals and priorities. It could depend on whether investment in long-term employee and customer relations is more important or less important than an increase in short-term profit. As an effective leader, your own strong self-image and personal priorities, combined with the highly structured goal-seeking behavior of the organization, comprise an unbeatable combination. 2. Responsibility. Determining who will make a particular decision is another important consideration. Even the most effective leaders must repeatedly judge whether to make a decision themselves, refer it to someone else, or delegate it. As a general rule, decisions should be made at the lowest organizational level consistent with quality. Appropriate delegation of decision-making to team members strengthens them, enhances the quality of decisions, prevents morale problems, and maximizes your time effectiveness. When planning to include team members in making decisions, select the type of decisions in which they have a natural involvement. Avoid leading team members to believe they are making a decision when, in fact, they are merely providing information to serve as a basis for your decision-making process. If you delegate decision-making, accept the decision and assist in its implementation. 3. Personal accountability. Although you delegate authority and assign responsibility for a decision, you are still personally accountable to the organization for the outcome. Reserve the right to reverse decisions made on a lower level, but only in special cases. Good judgment in the type of decisions you delegate makes it unlikely that such action will be necessary very often. In the event that you are ever forced to reverse or modify a decision, be sure to explain fully to everyone involved. Do all you can to help team members make wise decisions. The more competent they become in making decisions, the bigger contribution they make to the achievement of organizational goals. Creative problem solving. Problem solving and decision making are closely related. When a problem arises, the preliminary steps taken to solve it lead up to a decision about which possible solution will be implemented. Like decision making, problem solving may involve a relatively insignificant item, or it may concern a serious issue with the possibility of a major impact on the entire organization. The larger and more important the problem, the more time and detail that go into each step of the problem-solving process. For minor problems, several of the steps may be accomplished mentally in only a few seconds, but the process always includes these steps. 1. Crystallize the goal. Many problems are caused simply because the goal is not clearly understood by all team members. Take time to review the purpose of the team and its primary goals. 2. Define the problem. It is vitally important to discover the nature of the real problem when something is obviously wrong. Sometimes the visible element is merely a symptom. Define the problem clearly in terms of one or more organizational or personal goals. 3. List criteria for selecting a solution. Establish guidelines for evaluating possible solutions and making decisions by referring to specific organizational goals and priorities. This involves determining the rules by which the most workable solution will be selected and the standards the solution must meet. The criteria might include impact on product quality, cost limits, personnel changes, the leader's time allotment, or a target date for choosing a solution to be implemented. 4. Collect information. Taking into consideration time and expense, identify the specific information that must be gathered and set a deadline for collecting it. Determine the best approach to collect the critical information. Asking open-ended questions and listening carefully to the answers are generally the best ways to gather information. Ask others how they would solve the problem and why they would take that approach. Attempt to see the problem or tentative solution through the eyes of others. Others may see the problem and information about it in an entirely different perspective. 5. Develop possible solutions. Examine all of the data collected and record all possible solutions suggested by the data. List as many possible solutions as you or the group can generate by brainstorming, a process by which several people work as a group to develop a list of ideas. The brainstorming process is most effective when it is completely uninhibited and free from any critical analysis. Continue the brainstorming session as long as new alternatives are being generated. Then move on to the next step in the problem-solving process. 6. Analyze possible solutions. Allow time for ideas to incubate. Work on other problems and come back to the original one with new ideas. In one instance, think primarily in terms of profit. Another time, think in terms of team member development or other objectives. Analyze all assumptions to be sure you are not accepting artificial limitations. When you accept traditional assumptions about what can be done, you limit the ability to find creative solutions. Alter assumptions about what can be accomplished, and you open your mind to new possibilities for solving specific problems and for meaningful personal development. 7. Make the decision. When as much information as possible has been gathered and considered, assume the responsibility for making a decision or for leading team members to choose the best possible solution. 8. Implement the solution and follow up. Since the process is problem-solving rather than just decision-making, a plan for implementation must be developed to carry the job through to completion. Assign responsibility for each action step. Set up a schedule and follow it to make sure the problem is being solved. Make appropriate adjustments along the way to ensure successful problem-solving. Collaboration. Collaboration is measured by how well a group of people work together to achieve a common goal. Many teams who were perceived as underdogs have won championships because they focused on the team goal rather than their own individual goals. Synergism is created when the total effect of the team is greater than the sum of the individuals on the team. The key to collaboration is the ability of team members to work interdependently. Of course, all team members are different from one another. In fact, some teams are purposely designed to maximize the differences among team members. These differences can often lead to friction, tension, and conflict. Conflicts are forks in the road to high performance. How conflicts are handled will determine whether a team stagnates or moves to an even higher level of results. When conflict happens, use the following steps to help team members overcome the conflict. 1. Conflict. Identify the real conflict and the specific team members involved. 2. Communicate. The most important step to resolving conflict is to get both parties communicating with each other. This means each team member has a chance to talk about his or her thoughts and feelings and is also willing to listen to other team members. 3. Confront. Conflict must be handled head-on and out in the open. This means each team member must be willing to deal with and discuss difficult issues. 4. Creativity. After all those involved have had a chance to present their views, get team members thinking about potential solutions. Don't judge ideas at this point. Just get as many ideas out on the table as possible. 5. Compromise. The reality is that to resolve most conflicts, team members must compromise to some degree. Get team members to make at least a small compromise on the various issues. Negotiate a solution that is acceptable to everyone. 6. Commitment. Each team member must commit to the negotiated compromise solution. This means they will give 100% effort to make the solution work. 7. Cooperation. Follow up to be sure all team members are fully cooperating and putting forth their best effort to make the solution succeed. If handled proactively, conflict can actually lead to better teamwork, more collaboration, and higher team performance. When all these elements are used to resolve conflict and boost the group's efforts, teamwork gets really exciting. People begin trusting one another to do more, so they set higher goals and achieve greater results. Mutual trust increases both creativity and cooperation among the group members. Simply stated, a team thrives on trust. Individuals are willing to take on expanded roles, and they find themselves involved in a very rewarding experience for their own development and success, as well as for the team. Each stage of development provides value and sometimes challenges, but the final outcome includes opportunities for increased productivity, innovation, and growth, a win-win for the individual team members and the organization. Facilitative leadership. It is clear that leadership is critical for team success. Yet the role of the team leader has changed substantially over the years. In the old bureaucratic, militaristic structure, the team leader was the one who gave orders or commands to the troops to carry out. Today, the team leader is really the caretaker of the team. This means the leader is responsible for helping, supporting, and facilitating the process of team building, teamwork, and team performance. A facilitative leader understands that the solutions to problems, the information to make decisions, and the creativity to innovate is to be found in team members. Facilitative leaders see their role as bringing out the best talents and abilities of each team member and blending the different strengths of each person into a harmonious whole. An orchestra conductor is an excellent example of a facilitative leader. An accomplished conductor blends the sounds from many different instruments into a beautiful melody. At any given time, different instruments take the lead. Sometimes it's the wind section, sometimes it's the string instruments, and other times it's the percussion. The same concept applies to teams. Each person brings something different to the team. The goal is not to make everyone perform the same, but rather to use each person's unique abilities to achieve the best possible performance. The best team leaders develop team members to perform at a high level, even without the leader guiding them. This is similar to musicians who have a jam session. This is where they play spontaneously, creating the music as they go. As the leader, your job is to orchestrate the individual talents of each member to create a continuous, harmonious effort. An effort that builds the company's bottom line, boosts the confidence of the entire team, and rewards you with the personal satisfaction of having become an effective motivational leader.